them that one tree, don't eat the fruit of that. Apparently, Eve and Adam agreed that that would encroach on their liberty as well. And so they obviously went ahead and ate the fruit that they weren't supposed to eat. And now we've got all kinds of problems. So as a parent, I give my children liberty as liberty is warranted, as they prove themselves to be responsible and mature. I am not seeing our generation becoming more responsible and mature. Are you?
That's very fair. I was talking the other day. I said I'm blown away at the fact that now 30-year-olds think they're still kids. They think that, well, I'm just 30, so it's okay if I make stupid mistakes. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, by the time I was 30, I had 3 kids. But anyway.
No, Obamacare was the wake-up call for me. I was shocked when I realized that it was declaring children to be still minors enough to be on their parents' insurance policy until they turn 26. I thought that was
crazy.
A stretch.
It is. The thing about your example is God was not trying to, by telling them not to eat of the fruit of that tree, he was not trying to take anything away from them except for death. The only thing he was trying to prevent them from was injuring themselves. But he put the tree there just so they could have, to have the option. But he's saying the whole time, please, that's only going to bring death. That's only going to bring bad things in your life that you don't want. And the whole time they're, as you said, they're clamoring for that liberty.
So when I was in the Missouri State Legislature, when a bill came before me, I would ask myself these questions. Does this grow government bigger or shrink government smaller?
Right.
Clearly, legalizing marijuana is going to grow government bigger because it will have a bigger impact.
Right.
Number 2, is it good for strengthening marriages and families?
Right.
Well, no. Nobody has measured the impact on marriage and families with marijuana, but I can say from a quick glance, you'd have to be an ignoramus to not see that having family members go into a life of drug abuse, or if they lay in bed all day with bloodshot eyes saying, I don't care about anything, I don't even care to go to work, that is not good for marriage, and it's not good for families.
Absolutely.
The third question I ask, does this bill raise the moral fiber of the community? And the answer on this is a resounding no.
Absolutely.
If you loosen your morals low enough to say, I'm just going to get stoned, I don't care about anything, what if you don't care about other things that are important?
Exactly.
The next question I ask myself, and I ask you this, the next question I ask all of us to consider, does this encourage the development of personal responsibility? Legalizing marijuana isn't going to make people better, stronger, bigger, more self-reliant, not if they're wimping out all the time, trying to get into a stoned condition. That's not helping us be big and strong.
Exactly. It fails on every conservative concept that you can look at. This fails on. And how many of the people who are in the Missouri House ran on, I'm gonna decrease taxes, I'm gonna go for smaller government, less regulation. How many of them went up there and said all of these beautiful conservative tenets that so many of us believe in so strongly, and then they go up there and they vote exactly 180 degrees the opposite of what they told people they were going to do.
And then the final question we should all ask ourselves is this law going to make life better for the children, the next generation? Who is going to inherit this mess? Is it going to make it easier on them to navigate, or is it going to make it more difficult? And every study shows that when you legalize marijuana for the adults, it does trickle down to the children. They are going to be breathing the secondhand smoke. They are going to pay the price tag of parents who don't work, or parents who are squandering their money, their hard-earned money, on something that is not productive, that's only leeching the family wealth out of the family. And how easy are we going to make it on them when they have to go back and repeal the laws that were just passed to legalize it?
Exactly. I love those. I love those questions you ask. They should be on every desk up there.
Well,
I think we need a law that says, no, I'm kidding.
I'm glad I am so glad that there's one person out there who cares, and I believe there are a lot more of us. We just don't have anybody articulating our side. They're trying to beat us into submission. They're trying to get our culture in a place where it's going to be embarrassing if you speak against homosexuality, promiscuity, and marijuana, where you're going to be on the bad side of the fence. But let's never be quiet. What we do, we have our mouthpiece. We have our microphone. We have those who are out there asking, can anybody call a play? Can anybody be big enough and strong enough and bold enough to say, I don't care what the risk is, I'm going to speak the truth?
Absolutely. That's where we have to take our place. And I thank God for people like you who are already doing that. I look forward to working with you. I've got to work with Calvin Morrow from Yes on Question 1 on the Springfield Soji deal, and I told him, and I've told you off the air, I thank God that I'm finding these people who we can stand together and link arms and find places that we agree, and we can further the message and actually get people to stand up, because that's where we're going to find a victory. Whenever we collectively get together and we turn ourselves over to God, we're going to be able to find victory in this fight. The fight that seems so unwinnable because it feels like the forces are so strong on every side. But if we'll join together, we can see amazing things done, and I believe that with my whole heart.
Thank you, Pastor. Now, I want to give you a chance to say one message to the legislature, and not only the Missouri State Legislature, but all the people in all the state legislatures across the nation. What would you like to tell them?
I think if I could get every legislator to do one thing, it would be true to who you said you were. You let your push piece that you handed out at all of the parades you walked at and all of the dinners you attended, let that guide your decisions. You know, don't believe the lie that the people back at home don't know how you're voting. They do know how you're voting, and it's very, very upsetting every time that they have told you and looked at you in the eye and they've said, I'm going to vote for family values, I'm going to vote for smaller government, I'm going to work hard to take care of you, and then they go to Jefferson City in Missouri or one of their state capitals or the national capital, and they forget all of the things that they've told people, and they instead follow leadership. That would be the one change I'd like to see every one of them make.
Good going. And now I want you to talk to the people, my good listeners who are listening to our show. They're people who tune in every week wanting to hear a word of encouragement. Share your heart with us.
Well, I believe that the Christian conservative group is a sleeping giant. I believe that there is a large majority of Americans who just want to see America turn back to God and become the Christian nation that was so prosperous again. And I believe in my heart so strongly that if God's people, not everybody, but God's people will humble themselves and pray and seek His face, I do believe that if we'll keep working together, He will be able to heal our land. I believe the power is in our hands. The power is not in Jefferson City or not in Washington, D.C. or in Hollywood. The power is going to be found in the people. And if we'll rise up and make our voices heard, we can turn this nation back around.
We can turn the nation back around. That's great. Thank you for giving us a good word. It's been a true pleasure and a delight to get to be inspired by your thoughts today. So God bless. Have a good afternoon, and let's do it again sometime.
That sounds awesome. It's great being with you today, Cynthia. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been another edition of Homefront. I'm Cynthia Davis, and I thank you for joining us. We're taking America back one family at a time. I sincerely hope you heard something that left you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to engage our culture. If you enjoyed our show, you can find more at cynthiadavis.net. You can also find me on Facebook at Homefront with Cynthia Davis. Have a great week, and make sure you come back next time for another edition of Homefront.